Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, or later today, I'm going over part 2 of the story I was covering earlier, all about the guy who discovered that his wife was opening up the marriage without actually letting him know about that part. And he discovered this when he came in from work early. He thought she was going to be leaving for a weekend work seminar trip. And as it turns out, she was actually planning to go out with some guy that she was having an affair with, or for the first time, of course. And it ended, or I wrapped up the first part, when he, after her BS excuses and pretty much saying, I'm doing this whether you like it or not, and I deserve this, I have an itch that needs a scratch, and he threw her out. First, he, corrected her in a way, I gotta watch what I say here, shocked her, and then literally picked her up and threw her out the front door, along with her suitcase. So now we're going to continue on where things left off to see where things go, and let's just say when she realizes that he's done, watch predictably how she handles things. So he continues saying, I went back in the house and closed the door. I heard Beth crying through the door and then heard Tom ask her if she's okay. Beth just kept crying. Shocker. Tom said that they should go. They'll check into the room and she can change and fix herself up. It's kind of funny this guy isn't going out the door and whooping Tom's butt, but I guess he figures, you know what? Tom can have her. I'm not going to get myself bloody knuckles or anything like that wasted on this guy. I'm done. Tom said they can have a delightful weekend that they've been planning. Should he repack her suitcase or just leave it? She can always buy anything she needs at the resort. This Tom guy is kissing her butt like the biggest simp ever. Beth was still sobbing, but told Tom to leave. She's not going anywhere with him. She has to stay here and try to save her marriage. Well, look what happens when a guy really lays down the law. Tom said that she can't do that. Their room is at the resort is already paid for, and she promised she would come with him. She has been playing coy with him for weeks, teasing him for weeks. She can't back out now. They can still have great fun together. That's what they both want. So obviously this guy is hearing this through the door. I'll still be here Sunday, and we will have calmed down enough to talk about this rationally. I'm not going anywhere because I have nowhere to go. She'll have more success explaining everything to me when she returns. This is the Tom guy trying to convince her, please come with me, please, please. By Sunday, and I'll be so scared of losing her, I'll even be okay with Beth continuing to see Tom. Now, he's talking about the husband here. I'll have some time over the weekend to think and realize that Beth is my entire world. And I'll want to stay married even after she explains that Tom is now her boyfriend. He told her she can't back out over the weekend together now. It's too late. They should get going. Beth told Tom he's not her boyfriend and never will be. She must have been out of her mind to agree to go anywhere with him. I'm 10 times the man Tom will ever be. She knows this dude's listening. Come on here. Thank heaven that I knocked some sense into her. The idea of Tom even touching her or having sex with him now makes her physically ill. She told Tom there will never be a weekend for the two of them. She's ashamed of herself for even thinking of this was something okay for her to do. She can't imagine now why she ever wanted to do something like this. She now finds repugnant. All that after a slap and throwing her out the front door. It's like she was just knocked out of a trance. Makes you think of Temple of Doom when Short Round got the torch and he put out Indy's stomach and burned him. And then Indy woke up out of that trance because they gave him that drug in the blood. I'm talking about Temple of Doom, and then all of a sudden Indy woke up out of it and saved the day. It's like she woke up out of it after he smacked her, threw out the front door. What a load of crap. This is what happens when a woman knows a guy's serious and ain't messing around. And of course, she knew this dude was listening to this whole drama fest through the door. So Beth told Tom to leave and not contact her again. They work together. How's that going to work out? Tom told her she's coming with him. He must have grabbed her because she told him to get her hands off her. I opened the front door and told Tom that the whore asked him to leave. Now I'm telling him to get off my property. He has until the count of 3. He started to say something about Beth coming with him, but I started counting and took a step toward him. He looked at my face and decided it was his best interest to leave. Immediately, he ran to his car and zoomed away. Of course he did. He's a pussy. Beth was crying badly. Bag Handbook, Chapter 2. And she told me she's so sorry. She must have been out of her mind to even think about being with any other man. She thanked me for knocking some sense into her. She said she can always rely on me to cut through the BS and do the exact thing she needs me to do. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. She just knew that her game was up. I always know what's best for her. She didn't leave with Tom. Thanks to me, she finally woke up. Bitch, I don't care what you do. You're not coming with me. You're not coming back in. Can she come back in the house? I can tell her what she needs to do to repair the damage that she's done. She'll do anything I ask. I'm the love of her life. She can't bear the thought that her insanity hurt me. Uh-huh. I'm the last person she wants to hurt. She's disgusted with herself. She'll spend the rest of her life making it up to me. You can do whatever you want, but we're not going to be married anymore. And by the way, are there any neighbors outside watching this whole thing go down? There hadn't been one neighbor mowing his lawn or taking the dog for a walk, or some dog's taking a poop out in the neighborhood and saw her thrown out the door, kind of like in the Fresh Prince when they'd always throw Jazz out the door, you know? I told Beth it's too late. The moment she opened the door to go with Tom, our marriage was over. Actually, it was over when I found that she'd been lying to me. She's not coming back in the house. There's nothing she can do to fix the marriage. I told her to leave. Find someplace else to live. I went back in the house, closed the door, and Beth was really crying now. Neighbors are like, shut the fuck up! At the end of the day, if her name's on the freaking deed, she can come back in the house. All she has to do is call the cops and, you know. I still had her purse. Inside was a wallet and her phone. I opened the wallet and removed her credit cards. There was very little cash. I took her phone and tried to open it, but I don't have Beth's password. I never looked through her phone. I yelled at the Beth asking for the password to open up her phone. She immediately gave it to me. No questions, no argument. There were less than a dozen calls with Tom over the last month or so. No emails with him, though. I went through a text with Tom, not that many texts with him either. Most of the texts were him complaining that she's so cold and standoffish with him. He apologized for trying to hug and kiss her. She was right to push him away, but she's so sexy, he can't help himself. She's the most desirable woman he's ever met. More texts of him asking her why she won't go to dinner with him. After all, they're just friends sharing a meal, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think he needs to get this Tom character fired. Then the week before last, Beth suddenly told him she's willing to spend the weekend with him. There's a lot of text working out the details for the weekend. It was Tom's idea to tell me she's going on a work trip and she'd be picked up by her hired car. There was nothing in her text that indicates she slept with Tom or anybody else. I went through the rest of her social media apps. She's not very active in social media, mostly describing properties she's listed and sales she's made. There's nothing there to suggest she's seeing anyone. I don't care if she has been the most wonderful wife ever in the history of the world for the last 10 years. All that big stunt she was pulling there, that's it. The way she was going to do it anyway, and the way she was talking to this guy, we're done. Goodbye. Adios. I opened the front door and threw her purse and phone out. Beth was sitting on the porch chair shivering. It's summer, but it can get chilly here in the evening. She had repacked her suitcase, but put on the sweater that she had packed. I told her to leave before she freezes. She said she's not going anywhere until we talk. I went back inside, closed the door, and called Beth's father. Oh boy. Beth's father and I have always gotten along pretty well. We're very similar people. When he answered the phone, I explained that I found out that Beth was planning a weekend away with a coworker, so I threw her out. We are divorcing. She's sitting on the porch now, refuses to leave. He needs to come and get her. He asked what I meant by planning a weekend with a coworker. I said she was planning to go to a resort to have sex with a coworker this weekend. But Daddy... Let's see if Daddy believes this. She told me she was going to go on a work trip. I discovered that it was a sex trip. He asked if I was sure about this. Maybe I misunderstood something. How the fuck could this guy possibly misunderstand her intent? She told him what she was going to do. I told him her lover boy just left. I'm divorcing her and don't want to listen to any more of her lies. I'm not letting her back in the house. He can come and get her or leave her outside the porch. He said he'd be at my house in 30 minutes. Again, is her name on the deed? Really? When he arrived, he asked Beth what is going on. She told him about her plans with Tom and how I made her realize what a horrible mistake that would have been. She was completely honest with her father about everything. He told her she needs to come home with him. They'll try to sort things out with me later. Beth said she has to stay and try to get me to talk to her, get me to forgive her. Her father said that's not going to happen now. Beth and I can talk when things cool down. Well, thank God she has a rational father. If he called her mom probably would have been throwing a hissy fit. After 20 minutes of this back and forth, they finally left. Her father called me from the car. Beth is crying in the background. I'd be like, bitch, shut the fuck up. He told me that he's ashamed of his daughter and she's ashamed of herself. I should calmly think things through. Sir, I have most certainly thought things through. She finally woke up to what she was doing and didn't leave for the weekend. She wasn't unfaithful. I should give her some credit for that. Bullshit. If he hadn't come home early, she would have left and done the deed. Come on here. She's genuinely contrite. But her father continued, what she did and said to me was horrible. I should take the weekend to think about what to do. If I still want a divorce, he will support my decision. I asked what he would do. He said, she's still his daughter. Yeah, let's see if he'll be so supportive of the divorce. I'll be like, can I get that in writing, please? I'm writing this after the weekend. My wife planned to sleep with another man. Beth texts or calls me every hour or so. I turn off my phone so she doesn't bother me at night. She evidently isn't sleeping either. Her messages all have the same thing. She loves me. She apologizes. Don't divorce her. She'll make it up to me. She'll be the best wife ever. Over and over again. I don't respond to her. I saw a divorce attorney Monday afternoon. Well, good for you. Nothing like that bullshit to motivate you to get off your ass and talk to a divorce attorney. And listen to your lawyer. We are in a no-fault state, so divorce would mean a 50-50 split of everything. We have to sell the house, and she may insist on alimony. Since I make more money than her, I may have to pay some alimony. Yeah, anyway, how about that? She's the one that caused all this, and you're the one who has to pay. No children, so that makes things easier. However, and honestly, I haven't decided what I want to do and told my divorce attorney to start the paperwork anyway. I also changed the door locks. What do you mean you're not sure what you want to do? I think it should be pretty obvious what you want to do and need to do. You take her back after the way she talked to you, after she's playing this whole thing. I don't care if you didn't see evidence and nothing happening before. You know, everything she said to you in your bedroom, and you just need to get over it, and she has an itch that needs to be scratched, and you'll talk about that on Sunday and stop acting like a child. Fuck that. Dude, you're in your 30s, for heaven's sake. You can start over, find somebody better, or just be on your own for a while. Certainly never get married. She needs to know there's consequences for her actions, or otherwise, this shit's going to happen in a few years, except she'll be more covert about it. Anyway, on Monday evening, Beth sent me a long, rambling email. I'm going to summarize and organize what she wrote. Here goes. After apologizing for the 100th time, she tells me she loves me and doesn't want a divorce. She wrote that what she did was horrible and hurtful. She understands why I want a divorce, but she wants to tell me what she's done since Friday and some suggestions about what she can do to try to make things right. Maybe I'll consider giving her a second chance. Now, here's a list of all the crap she writes out, the things she's going to promise. And you guys can take bets right now. What is some of the stereotypical crap she's going to promise to win this guy back? I'm sure many of you guys have heard this stuff, either in the stories I've done, maybe your personal experience, but here goes. Number one, she called her boss Saturday morning and quit her job. She didn't quit because she was worried about Tom. She's worried Tom can still cast some sort of spell over her. He can't. When she thinks of him, she feels nothing but revulsion, nothing but disgust. She's blocked him and won't respond to any attempts to him to contact her. She didn't quit because she's worried about being around Tom. She quit for me. She doesn't want me to be concerned in any way that she'll be working around that jerk. She doesn't want me to worry for a second about him at all. She's already found a job at a different real estate agency. She'll start at the new place next week. If I don't want her to work, just tell her and she won't. Whatever I want her to do, she'll do. How can her not having a job benefit him? Because if he divorces her and she doesn't have a job, it's going to make it even more difficult for him. I mean, duh. Okay, great, she left to work with that guy there, but still. No, you're gonna have a job and employment, honey. Number two, the stupidest thing she's ever said or thought was that she's more than just my wife. She's completely fulfilled by me being my wife. That's all she wants and dreams about. No wife after 10 years goes around dreaming about how I want to be this guy's wife. Come on here. She's completely fulfilled by being my wife. That's all she wants and dreams. And hoping also to be the mother of my children someday. She aspires to nothing more than being the best wife I ever could have. Can I ever forgive her for saying something so hurtful and idiotic? No. Number three, she made an appointment with a therapist. She's well past the temporary insanity that overcame her. There you go, temporary insanity, so it's not her fault. The quote-unquote therapy I gave her when she opened the door to leave Friday was all the therapy she needs. What, smack therapy? Throwing your ass out the door therapy? Is that what it's called now? She thanked me again for setting her straight, for knocking some sense into her. But I think it's a good idea. She's more than willing to discuss with a therapist how and why she went completely insane. And she realized that she must have been completely insane to do what she did. She's no longer insane. She's back to being the woman I married. She is that woman from now on. That woman was going to do a weekend away, so no thanks. Listen to this bullshit, guys. We're not even done yet. I still got 5 more to go. Number 4. She lied to me about going on a work trip. There's no reason for me to believe her about anything anymore. Well, then why are we going to stay married? Can't have a marriage without trust. She understands that she broke my trust. There's nothing worse that she could have done. There's more worse things she could have done. But it's true that she's never been with another man since we met. Never kissed, hugged, held hands, been intimate with anybody else. I'm more than enough man for her, in every possible way. Her sick attraction to Tom was appalling. The attraction is gone, but the trust issue remains. So, to try to rebuild my trust, she will take a polygraph test. I can pick the examiner and provide the questions to ask her, and she will pay for it. If she fails the polygraph, she'll immediately agree to divorce, but she won't fail it. She'll take more polygraphs in the future if I ever wanted her to. Yeah, like your average Joe happens to know guys that administer polygraph tests. Okay, I'll pick that guy. Number 5. I'll have complete and immediate access to her phone, iPad, and computer, of course. Of course, she's promising that. Well, what happens if she has another iPhone, iPad, or computer? I mean, come on here. 6. She'll sign a post-nuptial agreement. The post-nup will specify that if I feel she's been unfaithful, I can have a divorce where she gets nothing but what she brought into the marriage. No alimony, and I get the house. The post-nup will state that I don't have to prove adultery to get a divorce. If I just think she's behaving inappropriately with anybody else, then I can throw her out and divorce her under the terms of the post-nup. When she says that he can throw her out, is she literal? Like he can throw her out again like he threw out the front door? Is he allowed to smack her? She understands that after we sign the post-nup agreement, I can immediately say that I think she's violated the post-nup to get a more favorable settlement. But she's willing to do anything and take the chance in hopes of convincing me she's willing to do anything if I just give her a second chance. This all sound familiar? Number 7. She will tell everyone in our families and all friends in detail about her crazy behavior, and that's what I want her to do. She's ashamed of how she behaved. She's willing to humiliate herself in front of everyone if that proves to me how much she loves me. She doesn't care about what anybody thinks about her. She only cares about me and our marriage. You mean the way she humiliated herself in front of the neighborhood? Number 8. She'll do anything I ask her to do. She'll gladly suffer any punishment I want to impose on her. Just give her one more chance. Well, this guy could really have some fun with her in the bedroom over that one. Not that he'd want to. So here I am asking for the help with the decision I have to make. Reconcile with her or divorce her, move on. Should I do the post-nup and see if she passes the polygraph, or just stop wasting my time and move on without her? I don't want to ask my friends and family for advice, because if I decide to reconcile, I don't want Beth's behavior made public. I don't want to embarrass her in front of my family and our friends. Besides, I can't think of anyone I know who would tell me not to take Beth back. Of course, they're all going to tell you that. Our friends and my family will just say that nothing actually happened. She didn't leave for the weekend. She didn't sleep with another man. She came to her senses and realized I was more important to her than anything else. Is it going to get out that you smacked her and threw her out the front door? I'm literally picturing, again, like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like whoosh, out the front door. You got to tell them that part? Her dad might not be too happy about that. She came to her senses and realized I was more important to her than anything else. If the polygraph shows she's been faithful, I should give her the second chance that she's begging me for. If in seeking their advice, I mentioned to my friends and family that she lied to me about what she was up to, they just say it's no big deal and she's learned her lesson. But I do think it's a big deal. If I let her get away with lying this time, what's to stop her from doing the same thing next time as she becomes temporarily insane? So here I am asking for advice from people who have no axe to grind and will hopefully provide me with good, sound advice. Do I reconcile or divorce her? Dude, really? Divorce her. She's promising you all the same shit that every other gal promises in all these stories I cover and other dudes have covered. She probably has read these things and has gone right to the freaking checklist of all the things to promise. Changing jobs, access to the phone, the computer, will do anything he wants. And the list, tell everybody she knows, shout from the rooftops, wear a scarlet fucking letter. no, don't take her back. It's done. How she behaved in your bedroom with all that entitled shit, I can do this and we'll talk about it on Sunday and you're being a child. No. No. Unless you just want to be dealing with this shit later on down the road, and you will, when she suddenly has more temporary insanity. Come on. And I think you know this. And yes, you are right about one thing. Your family and friends will tell you to take her back because they don't want to see a divorce. Really. Probably your parents are hoping for some grandkids. Now, you divorce her, that ruins that one. Think about it. So no, do not take her back. That's what I think. So guys, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, because this guy really needs to hear it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.